Welcome to the jungle. It gets worse here every day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. It's tough, innit? Hard times. Tricky, difficult, unpleasant, turgid, depressing, sad. Welcome back to Chelsea News. We're going to discuss this scenario with Mauricio Pochettino because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all we can do at this point is look forward. And I'm going to hold on to the small beacon of hope. Well, no, you know what? Beacon of hope. Let's not make this beacon small. A good manager's coming in to manage good players on a good budget. That sounds good. A lot of goods there. Good. We got touched up by Arsenal yesterday, though we won the second half. So it was even. It was a draw. Oh, God. There are some more positives from yesterday. Mikhailo Mudryk did look good off the bench. I did pin a comment in my post-match presser that, according to Mozo Football, he created more chances than any Chelsea or Arsenal player, though he only played 19 minutes. He looked good. Noni Madueke looked good. Two young wingers for the future who probably should start for the rest of the season so Mauricio Pochettino could analyse them appropriately moving forwards. Have some more data. But yeah, we are in the trenches. Make no mistake. But I'm here to guide you through the darkness. Join me in our journey through ascension to be reborn, provided we don't get relegated, reborn to the higher echelons of the Premier League. Thank you for subscribing to this YouTube channel, hitting that bell, because I upload at least once a day, and you can be part of the experience by making sure you get notified, pressing the bell when you subscribe. And thank you for dropping a like on the video. Let's see if we get a bunch of likes. Old school vintage YouTube content creator scenario. Smash like button for happy times. So Matt Law is writing about how Pochettino is no magician. Chelsea will take years to rebuild. Look, while perhaps I don't agree with this entirely, make no bones about it, we are experiencing a horrendously negative situation that's been long in the making. This isn't just like, Potter was under cooks for it, Lampard's not the right man, but this is years in the making. I've said it before, dysfunctional footballing direction and recruitment. Now we have a team of football directors and football recruitment people. So from now on, the years forward should protect us from falling into this scenario again, in theory. But, football can always surprise you. Now, before we cite some of this, I think Chelsea should just announce Mauricio Pochettino. I'm not saying he should come in now. I maintain my position, which I've sort of said over the recent videos and again yesterday evening. Don't come in now, because you got to stay away from this stench, bro. Don't get any of this sewage on you. Just announce him saying, next season, Poch is going to be manager. He signed a ting, but he's not taking over now. Way, positive vibes. Suddenly players know, fix up. New man coming. Don't behave like a little bitch, I think I could genuinely think it would be helpful for morale for the players. Maybe stick one up the morale for the fans, and stick one up the players for them to actually sort themselves out a little bit and show that there is structure there. And then Poch will come in as soon as the final full time of the final game. Poch is officially Chelsea manager. But by then, Chelsea know who they're going to start flogging and selling the players out, and then Poch can immediately go bang, bang, bang. Right, I've watched you in the final few games, mate. And this is what you're doing wrong, or I don't want you to be a part of this, or just give them time. But at least the announcement can hopefully get out. It's just something, innit? Jesus. And you could be like, oh, it doesn't do Frank any favours. It probably will, actually. Let's see what Matt Law's saying. The Chelsea fans who were put through yet another humiliation. And by the way, it was a humiliation. It was that first half. We were better in the second half. We scored a goal. They didn't. I joke when I say we won the second half. But, that first half was an embarrassment. Arsenal showed moments of weakness that we just did not exploit. Anyway, so yes, another humiliation. We're probably grateful to see Cesc Fabregas make the case for another miracle title success by declaring it doable. But even before he is signed on the dotted line, the proposed new head coach Mauricio Pochettino must already know it's not. Not with these players, and certainly not while everyone's still at the club learning on the job. True. When we finished 10th, we had Premier League winners and big characters. Fabregas, speaking on his role as a pundit for Sky, I love Fabregas, man, on Chelsea's embarrassing 6th successive defeat against Arsenal, said this, quote, 6 years ago, we had a really bad season with Chelsea. We finished 10th, if I remember correctly. Mourinho left, Hiddink came in, we started to play young players, and I remember in April they signed Antonio Conte, who came to the training ground, spoke to us individually, planned what he wanted to do at the start of the fresh new season. So that's actually interesting. And won the Premier League against Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, against Mourinho's United. I mean, it's not impossible. I tend to lean on the side of agreeing with Matt Law here. I think it is impossible. But what I don't think is impossible is us looking like a football team again, and would you believe maybe scoring the odd goal. And just seeing the foundations grow. Look, Chelsea have signed their midfielder that's 15 years old. He'll join us when he's 18. We're looking at someone else. Fabrizio Romano is on the Chelsea Academy or under 21 project. Interesting, but I did want to report on that, but I feel like it's bigger picture at the moment. We know we've got a lot of good youngsters that are coming through, and the Project 2030, whatever it's called, great in theory. Long-term planning, I'm here for it. But we gotta make sure we're not in the Championship, because then it's all redundant. Not even the ever-smiling ex-Chelsea striker Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank looked convinced, but Fabregas added, I know you will tell me there's a lot of new players, it's difficult, but it happened 6 years ago. I was there, I lived it. If you bring someone in with the experience, with the character, who can put everyone together, who can give clear ideas of what he wants to do and to work hard and to bring everyone on board, it's doable. Yeah. Former midfielder Fabregas is an engaging, brilliant pundit who offers some superb insight in games, but he had done a line of ketamine before this speech. No, that's a joke. That is a joke. He hadn't. But on this occasion, he was badly wrong. All right, Matt Law, chill out. He was badly wrong. He was probably a little bit overly enthusiastic, you could say. Badly wrong. It's harsh. Chelsea have not woefully underperformed because of the players are fed up with Tuchel or Graham Potter. Or lacked Conte's aggression, or even because caretaker Frank Lampard is tactically inferior to the Italian, which he is. This season's spectacular mess is not one that can be magically solved by an appointment of a new manager, as co-controlling owners Boehly and Iqbali should have learned by now. Assuming he doesn't have a change of heart from watching Chelsea's latest loss, Pochettino will have to be a miracle worker just to secure Champions League qualification. It looks like more of a 2-year job at least. I don't know. Of course, you've got people like Mikel Arteta in his pre-match press conference saying they might win the league with 100 points next season. Obviously, that's opposition manager talk, just trying to, it's mind games, essentially. I don't know. I think it's all there for a coach to do very well. I do. I think it's all there. I just feel like what will take long, it's not the infrastructure necessarily, which perhaps Matt Law is inferring here, which I guess would take long. But I think more it's cultivating the mentality long term. But Pochettino is meant to be good for cultivating mentality. The class of 2016-17, which Fabregas was a part of course, already won a Premier League 2 seasons before, and in those management positions such as technical director Michael Emenalo, of course Marina Granovskaya, and chief of medical Paco Biosca had been involved in numerous successes. Yeah, there was that sort of recurring theme, and also we had friggin' Holland. What's his name? Oh my god, my mind's gone blank. Who's now the England manager? Oh my god, that's gonna. I'm not having Holland manager because that's just gonna give me the Holland manager. Holland Chelsea manager, Steve Holland. God dang! How do you forget Steve? Steve Holland. See, I've got one over Matt Law here. Steve Holland. He was never, I don't know, I don't think he'll never be the number one thing, but he was always there through different managers and successes. He was always hanging about, and we were always winning trophies. And then he left. He left in Conte's second season, to which Conte was really upset about, and things went to, crap. Yeah. Pochettino will not have the luxury of leaning on anybody. Lean on me. Experience of Emenalo, who would no doubt have cancelled Boehly and Igbali against such faux pas as entering the dressing room and addressing the squad after defeats. True, they didn't leave anyone around to go, hey guys, this isn't a good idea. We know. One of the key responsibilities of Emenalo was to help control the impulses of the ownership. Interesting, as he did when he pushed back against Roman Abramovich's initial plan to fire Carlo Ancelotti. The Italian, in Emenalo's eyes, had earned the right to complete the season, and just as the current ownership didn't have one with Potter was sacked, there was no immediate plan to fall back on. That's why, by the time Mourinho was dismissed for the second time in December 2015, there were club staff such as Steve Holland, damn it, he did reference him, Eddie Newton and Lolly Shon in place to assist Gus Hiddink. You can't get past Matt Law here. Lampard can currently be seen in the Chelsea dugout with his caretaker staff, Joe Edwards, Ashley Cole, Chris Jones, but they have not been named publicly because the club are still paying some of Potter's old staff, whose status as employed or leave otherwise has not been confirmed. Yeah, it's an absolute mess, this who's working, who's not working thing. Pochettino will bring his 4-man staff this summer, ensuring a fourth behind the scenes. Oh yeah, look, Pochettino can lean on his staff, but I know what you mean. But the thing is, this is the thing. It is completely knocking it down and rebuilding. Now, Matt, understandably and perhaps rightly, is criticising not keeping anything from the past regime to offer continuity, security, all that kind of stuff. And I get it. And because we haven't got that, as well as just the no foundational planning for the last 5 years, 10 years even, we've found ourselves here. But I understand the incentive and the desire to knock everything down and start again, even if it means this is happening. I understand that, this is like the extreme version of you got to break a few eggs to make an omelette. They want to make a long-term, delicious omelette that is really good, and lasts a long time. This is one of my metaphors and analogies that probably don't hold up. But I kind of get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe they're like, look, we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off and start again, and then let someone like Pochettino, do his thing and like get that sort of Argentine fighting culture in the players, and and rebuild. Maybe we don't have to be that we're Chelsea, we just win because we do. Maybe we can build a Man City style team, and I guess that is the desire. Obviously that's a lot to ask, but it's going to be funded appropriately and staffed appropriately, like in theory, but I get the attempt. The fact how Boehly made himself into, I really think Matt Law doesn't like Boehly. I mean, I know a lot of Chelsea fans don't, but come on, he was naive in making himself sporting director. But now, of course, we've got Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart, and it's less Boehly flying about, throwing his weight about. Winstanley and Stewart have a huge job in front of them, of course, making sure Pochettino is supported and managing his relationship with the owners and possibly even some of the players. Emenalo, in his title-winning season referenced by Fabregas, had to solve a huge disagreement with Conte and Costa, which threatened to see the striker move to China. People forget about that. They always have a go at Conte for the text, but, Costa was tricky. I do genuinely think the owners will learn, and the board will learn. Remember, it's not just a think tank of footballing directors and recruitment staff. The board is like a collection of like different people. It's no longer Roman and his mates, and they will be learning, and they'll look at Boehly and Igbali, who are open to conversation by all accounts, and be like, look guys, you can't do this. And they'll be reading this and seeing the leaks about them going in the dressing room, and they'll know it's all like, silly. Fabregas will no doubt recall when he was one of the 4 players, along with JT, SP and Luiz, who Emenalo summoned to carry out the plan to convince Costa to stay. I mean, John Terry can't even speak to him, so he would have just sort of stood there nodding. Although Costa liked JT, he used to call him, hey, Capitan. So they convinced him to stay to the end of the season, of course, won the Premier League. Aubameyang's demeanour at the Emirates on Tuesday night when he was substituted at half-time would suggest not enough. Yeah, look, I feel bad for Aubameyang. He is terrible. He has been terrible. I still feel bad for him, though, because of how he was brought in. I kind of understand the 2 last starts were against Arsenal because he's motivated and he knows how to score goals, but he's not fit and he's just not good at the moment. And also, we can't give him the ball. So, Emenalo identified Conte as a brilliant manager who had already proved he could make an instant impact with a team of talented players, proven players. Pochettino is more of a builder, a nurturer with a history at Tottenham and PSG, suggesting that he requires time to create the right environment for his methods. But the truth is, we need an environment created, because the environment that we've created recently is toxic. And all the evidence is that the Chelsea squad and those in the positions of power around Pochettino will need plenty of time to get it right. However bad 15-16 season was, the club never lost more than 2 successive games in that campaign. Whoa, that's wild. We had a lot of draws in that season, and the longest winless run was 4 matches. We've lost 6 in a row. Emenalo famously cited palpable discord for the reason Mourinho was sacked, when a disconnect between the Portuguese and the Chelsea players and the club was very clearly the reason for an alarming drop-off. Results were not completely transformed by the installation of Hiddink, and at the end of the... Yeah, look, it's really, really interesting, actually, like... Because... Jose did throw it in, and he went he was publicly throwing the players under the bus. You know, I feel like my work has been betrayed and all this kind of stuff he came out with, didn't he? But Eden Hazard, like years later, said if there's one manager he could work with again, it would be Mourinho, and he felt like he did sort of like let him down, you know. So like that's really interesting. Anyway, there's a lot more here. I'm just going to read a little bit more towards the end. Consider the 2, so this is next season, the competition Pochettino will face. City are arguably stronger than they ever have been, with a striker who is breaking records, truth. United are getting their house in order. I still don't really trust Man United. Liverpool are still ahead of Chelsea and are gearing up for a big summer. Again, that back 4... I don't know, Liverpool, they could be good, but I don't see them consistently being good. And Arsenal are now forced to be reckoned with. Yes, so Arsenal are good, Man City are good. And Newcastle are good. But I don't trust necessarily Spurs, Liverpool and United, to be fair. The 5 clubs, look, it's going to be hard to get into the Champions League. I'm not going to... I've left a big chunk out because it's behind a paywall. Matt's a great writer. He's got good insight. Go check out his work. It will be difficult, but it can only get better. Scoring goals, winning more games, and ultimately looking like we know what we are doing, and the players developing relationships on the pitch. Like, there's so many times we've seen them just in that game yesterday as well, in that first half. They get up the pitch, they look like they're knocking it about well, and they all just run in different directions. Like, they don't know where the ball's supposed to be going. You know, you could put that Frank's door. He hasn't had much time to cultivate anything between them, and he's trying different things, understandably. But the players just don't know each other, man. So a pre-season with the ones that are staying and the ones we know are staying and commit to the cause, let Pochettino get inside their heads, and things can only get better. And we can think about Champions League qualification next season. Do you know what I mean? Let me know what you think. I'm keen to hear people's thoughts on next season, the project, where we're moving to. You know, obviously this season, if we get another win, we're safe. I'll cross that bridge, though. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and of course commenting. I look forward to speaking to you very soon about managers, players, and hopefully there's football, because that's painful. Ciao.